Hi, I'm Kristen and I'm a pregnancy coach who works with mamas all over the world. I help you go from feeling anxious and overwhelmed to enjoying your pregnancy, preparing for a sacred natural birth, and giving your baby the beautiful beginning that you're dreaming of. Today, let's talk about why you need to eat eggs, chocolate, and beef in your pregnancy. What do all of these have in common? They have a substance called choline in common. In fact, eggs are about the best source of choline you can get. Why is choline important during pregnancy? Choline builds your baby's brain. You absolutely want this brain boosting nutrient going into your baby. So as long as you're not allergic to eggs, I recommend that you eat eggs every day during your pregnancy. Dr. Brewer, who was a pioneering pregnancy nutrition researcher decades ago, whose work unfortunately went mostly unappreciated during his time, recommended that pregnant women look at eggs like two giant pills that they took every day throughout pregnancy, though he reminded us that you can have them any way you want. So if you prefer scrambled to hard-boiled, go ahead, scramble, put them in baked goods, whatever. But that choline is especially important to your baby. It's also high in dark chocolate, so a square of dark chocolate a day can give you a little bit of a boost and a smile, because I love chocolate. I hope you love chocolate. And then, of course, beef, especially grass-fed beef, is high in choline. Now, excepting the chocolate, another thing that I wanted to point out about foods like eggs and beef, which are animal foods, is that they overall have great nutrient density. Now, some of you listening might be vegan, and you may want to turn this off, or you may want to listen in, because I believe that it's really important to you and your baby. If you're vegetarian, I encourage you to listen in and consider being super open to foods like eggs and milk during pregnancy. Because the reality is that animal foods give you so much more nutritional bang for your buck during pregnancy, and that is so important as you're working on growing a healthy baby. One of the benefits of foods like these is they tend to have high protein. Each egg is about 6 grams of protein, so 2 eggs gives you 12 grams of protein. And in your day, as a pregnant woman, you need 100 to 120, 130 grams of protein a day. So that gives you a piece of that protein puzzle right there. Beef, 1 ounce of beef is going to give you about 7 grams of protein. 3 ounces of beef, which is about the size of a deck of cards or a typical beef patty, or like 3 steak finger kind of things, is going to give you some 21 grams of protein. So you get a lot of protein. Other animal foods such as yogurt or milk also give you a good amount of protein. 1 ounce of cheese gives you about 8 ounces. 1 glass of milk gives you about 8 ounces. Greek yogurt, which is a highly filtered yogurt, gives you a lot of protein for its money. Depending on the brand, it can change, but a high quality Greek yogurt in about an 8-ounce cup is going to give you some 12 or so ounces of protein. So even more. Cottage cheese is another that gives you extra protein for its ounces. So as you can see, these animal foods give you a lot of protein, and that is so important for your pregnancy. They also tend to have a little bit more sodium in them, dairy products especially, and salting to taste is also important to your pregnancy. But these foods come along with vitamins and minerals as well, which is really important. In fact, if we take a pound of beef, we would have to take multiple pounds of broccoli to reach the same level of nutrients that you have in the pound of beef. So it's really important for you to consider animal foods simply because of the nutrient density that's required. Another thing that you want to think about is in pregnancy, if you're trying to look at weight gain, first of all, I recommend that you look at diet as a way to build a healthy baby and to build a healthy, low-risk mama who is ready for giving birth to her child, other than weight gain. But if you think, Kristen, I was a little fluffy in a past pregnancy and would rather prevent that, then gaining the right amount of weight and growing the right size baby is going to be easier if you're cornerstoning your pregnancy diet on protein, which automatically has higher satiety than, say, carbs or even fats. But then get healthy fats in, salt to taste, fill out your plate with fruits and vegetables, and then have some carbs on the side. If you're eating a plant-based diet, you tend to get a lot more carbs in, though maybe might not get as much fat in, and it's really that carb-fat interplay that can increase the pounds. But usually it's more difficult to get the amount of protein in that you need when you're eating a plant-based diet. So these are all things to think about. I understand there are ethical considerations that come in with it, but one thing to consider is that the human body really is an omnivorous body. An optimal development of your baby may come when you're open to enjoying some of these animal foods that have such high nutrient density. Choline, that's good for the brain. Healthy fats are also super important for your baby's brain, as well as the protein that is literally the foundation and building block of your baby and of the placenta. Protein also helps facilitate blood volume expansion, which means that there's plenty of circulation, a healthy uterus, a healthy baby, plenty of amniotic fluid, and everything that you need for pregnancy. So your diet is crucial and it is a cornerstone, and including animal foods in your pregnancy diet could be an especially important consideration for the health of your baby. Now, if you're thinking, okay, Kristen, how do I make this happen? Maybe I have aversions to certain foods, or I'm just not sure how I could fit that much food in every day. How do you get that much protein in? I love working with mamas all over the world, helping them design easy meal plans that work with where you are in the world and what sounds good to you. I also love working with those moms because I'm there in your pocket. We talk via Zoom frequently, and you can literally send me a text or a voice text anytime so I can get back to you. So you have support not just for diet, but for really enjoying your pregnancy, getting evidence-based information on everything, and preparing for that sacred natural birth experience so that it goes safely and smoothly and you end up with that beautiful beginning that you want with your baby. I would love to talk with you about how I can support you this week. Head over to birthbabylife.com/beautiful and let's set up a time to chat.